It is Sunday, the 1st of September, 2024. My name is Pigeon Rose, and this is my song of the day. Here we are, winding down on Daniel Johnston week. It's the last day of the week, and thus it is the last song of the week. And the song we're talking about today is Walking the Cow. I've mentioned this song in basically every other episode this week. It's the song I discovered Daniel through. It's a song that I think about a lot. It's also one of his most popular songs. It's been covered a lot. We'll get into that. It's the third track on the album Hi, How Are You? I also mentioned that was his catchphrase. He actually says it in the song here. The cover of the album is a drawing of Jeremiah the Frog of Innocence, who, as mentioned before, is inspired by Jeremiah was a bullfrog. And this album cover is kind of one of the iconic Daniel Johnston album cover. Famously, Kurt Cobain was pictured wearing a t-shirt of this album cover, which is part of how Daniel got popular in the 90s, was the kind of attention from more mainstream artists, and you'll still see those t-shirts around a lot. I don't have one. I really want one. I'll get one soon, I promise. I just remember watching the video for Risk, Risk, Risk by Jiraiya, and someone's wearing one in the background, and I was like, what the fuck? It's like the Leonardo DiCaprio from Wolf of Wall Street meme of like, someone's wearing a Daniel Johnston shirt there, what the fuck? But anyway, so yeah, we don't need any more preamble. I think you get the idea at this point. Let's just go listen to the song and then come back in a few minutes and talk about it. We did a whole week of Daniel Johnston, and we finally got to a song with a fucking chord organ in it. So, if I recall correctly, the chord organ is an instrument where you like press. There's like buttons for the chords, and there's buttons for the keys. So you like press a single button and it plays all the keys for the chord, I think. But that's what he plays on a lot of his early stuff. And you can really hear the action of him punching the keys. But you can hear the kind of like, you can really hear him thumping them, you know? And if you watch videos of him playing, that is very much how he played. What's really interesting to me about this song, like I said, it was the first one I heard, and it intrigued me enough that it made me listen to his other stuff. And he's always had this unique style. But with the other stuff, with the piano and the guitar, they sound more conventional. And this one, being on the chord organ, just kind of has this unique feel to it, you know, because the chord organ isn't something you hear in many songs, you know, especially not popular songs. Also, his voice in this one, very washed out. And also, I feel like it sounds the most like childlike out of his songs that we've talked about this week. And maybe that's because of the lyrics, the subject matter. It would make sense, but yeah, there's just something very interesting and intriguing about this song, especially the phrase walking the cow. I mean, I know what it means now, but when you hear it, you're like, what? You want to learn more. Like, well, what does that mean, walking the cow? So I mentioned this briefly when talking about a different song, but the idea of walking the cow was Johnston's idea of walking your responsibility. It's a burden. There's a quote here, walking your responsibility. It's like a burden to me, like walking the cow is bearing your cross. I don't want to stay here, but I'm walking the cow. Now, apparently he was inspired by a Bluebell Creameries label, which has a little silhouetted image of a girl leading a cow on like a lead. So she's walking the cow. And so that's where this idea came from. And he just kind of transcribed it to his own issues of responsibility and all that. It opens with the sound of, I feel like a speak and spell or something. It's one of those kids' toys where there's animals on it and you like press the animal button and it goes, this is a pig. Right, and all that. And I think it's just this album. There's some album where those recur throughout. There are several songs that have this sound of like, this is a pig and this is a horse and all of this. And this one starts with this is a pig, do you hear the frog? And then when the frog croaks, he goes, how are you? Kind of implying again that he is Jeremiah the Frog of Innocence and he's saying, how are you? Anyway, so let's talk about the lyrics here. Try to remember, but my feelings can't know for sure. Try to reach out, but it's gone. Lucky stars in your eyes. I am walking the cow. I really don't know how I came here. I really don't know why I'm staying here. I'm walking the cow. So it feels like he's kind of stating he's lost his way. He's not sure what he's doing. He's kind of feeling lost. He's trying to remember, but his feelings can't know for sure. He's trying to reach out, but it's gone. And he's walking the cow. He's like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it. You know, I'm lost, but I'm accepting my responsibilities. I'm walking the cow. I really don't know how I came here. I really don't know why I'm staying here. I am walking the cow. Now, the lucky stars in your eyes line is something that always caught my attention. There's a quote from him here saying, ever everybody has that part of the day too. You're dreaming and you're feeling pretty good. If it lasted forever, you'd be bored by it. Somebody who dreamed all the time might become sort of satanic. They'd think they were superior, but a little bit of this and a little bit of that, it's all right. So I think he's saying the lucky stars in your eyes are like the hope, the dream that's still alive in you, you know. We're all in the gutter, but some of us are still looking at the stars. Then the second verse, tried to point my finger, but the wind was blowing me around in circles, circles, lucky stars in your eyes. I'm walking the cow. I really don't know what I have to fear. I really don't know why I have to care. I am walking the cow. So the idea of trying to point his finger, but the wind is blowing around in circles, it feels like he's like trying to figure out what to blame, you know, point the finger, trying to figure out what's the root cause of this, but he keeps being blown around in circles. He's lost even to why he's lost, so to speak, you know, but then he repeats the I am walking the cow. And then he says, I really don't know what I have to fear. I really don't know why I have to care. So then he's kind of talking about like not being sure why he's still walking the cow, why he still cares to remain, but he is anyway. He will continue to walk the cow. And then it just ends with him saying, lucky stars, and the chord organ playing. Yeah, I mean, that's all there is to this song, but I really love it. I just love the way it all blends together. It sounds so cozy. The chord organ playing is really beautiful. It's just really, really great. Like I said, this is one of his most popular songs. I think it's his only song with a Wikipedia page, actually, now that I think about it. There are a bunch of bands who've done covers of it. The Ravers. The Ravers have done a cover. Firehose. Pearl Jam famously covered it at the Bridge School benefit concert. It's this annual concert that was held yearly, and it was organized by Neil and Peggy Young, and it ran from 86 until 2016, and Pearl Jam at a 1994 performance did a cover of this song, and that was kind of what opened a lot of people up to Daniel Johnston as well, and this, you know, ended up on different live albums and bootlegs and stuff. Also, notably, it was covered by Kathy McCarthy of the band Glass Eye. Glass Eye are another band from Austin, Texas, and Daniel Johnston's first live performance was as a support act for Glass Eye, and he gave Kathy McCarthy one of his albums with his classic Hi, How Are You? And apparently he gave Kathy McCarthy this album, Hi, How Are You? And she didn't listen to it, and then later he said to her, what did you think of it? And she was like, oh yeah, it was good. And then she went home and finally listened to it because she felt bad. The two of them then dated for a bit, which they talk about in The Devil and Daniel Johnston, that documentary I've talked about before. But then a few years later, she released a cover album of a bunch of Daniel Johnston's songs, and there's a cover of the song on there. Also, TV on the Radio are the band who covered it for the late great Daniel Johnston cover album. And I do enjoy that cover. It's different, it's slower, but I do enjoy it. I do need to listen to more TV on the Radio because everything I hear by them is good. Yeah, I don't know if I have much to say about this. I love this song. I love Daniel Johnston. I love his music. And I wish more people knew about his music, and that's kind of my aim here with doing a whole week about him on here, you know. And I hope you enjoyed. I know there will be some people who didn't like any of these songs for various aesthetic and sensory reasons, and I understand that. It's still important to broaden your horizons a bit. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's song, and indeed for this week's. I will be talking about other Daniel Johnston songs down the line, but not for a while now because we just did a whole week of it. Next week, no particular plan, just whatever songs I want to talk about. Thank you so much for listening. Please hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you think, tell other people about this show. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you tomorrow.
Break it down.
We're all in the gutter, but some of us are still looking at the stars. She said, would you go and shite last night? All you did was curse those stars, 'cause they sang to you of hope.